Good evening and welcome to the national news broadcast on ChannelEye. We are ready to bring you the top stories from home and around the world. I'm Natalia Virvadana.
I'm Movin Hettiarachi and here are today's headlines. Suspicions arise on whether power failures island-wide are an act of sabotage. Parliament complex experiences power disruptions. Minister Johnston Fernando requests an immediate investigation. Omicron variant infected person found from the island. Gas distribution suspended. A decision has been taken to establish a green agriculture operations centre. Prime Minister instructs to expedite the Mathura Town development plan.
The General Manager of the Electricity Board, Emma Ranatunga, says they suspect the island-wide power failures today are an act of sabotage. He said an investigation would be conducted into the incidents. General Manager of the Electricity Board, Emma Ranatunga, says that they suspect whether there is a connection between trade union demands and power interruptions. The people should not be inconvenienced to win demands. He said he regretted the situation due to trade union demands or for other reasons. Island-wide power failures occurred around 11:30 a.m. today. Power supply was restored in several places including Anuradhapura, Habarana, Lakshapana, Athuragiriya, Kothmale Biyagama and at Colombo National Hospital. Electricity Board said power was restored island-wide around 4:30 p.m. today. Water Board said water supply was interrupted in congested areas including Colombo. Train services were delayed due to malfunctioning of railway signal lights without electricity. Meanwhile, power was interrupted at Parliament Complex today when the expenditure of Defence Ministry was taken up for debate. Samagi Janabalawegaya MP Tushara Indunil and Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna MP Lalith Ellawalage were stuck inside the Parliament lift. Minister Johnston Fernando said an immediate investigation should be conducted into power failure at Parliament. Meanwhile, Electricity Board Engineers Union said they temporarily suspended their work to rule trade union action.
The Consumers Affairs Authority has informed to the two gas companies to suspend distribution of gas until the issue related to gas composition is to be solved. State Minister Lasantha Lagiyawanna said that it has been revealed there is a problem related to chemical composition of gas. 116 incidents of gas leaks, cookers and gas pipe explosions have been reported between 4th November and yesterday. Police said 79 incidents related to gas cookers, 26 incidents of gas leaks and 11 incidents of gas pipe explosions have been reported. State Minister Lasantha Lagiyawanna said that according to the country standard, ethyl mercaptan substance should have a value of 14. However, the two samples which were tested had only a value of 5. Chairman of the Consumer Affairs Authority ordered the two companies yesterday not to issue gas to consumers without including this chemical substance.
තොරව මොනම ආකාරයකවත් ඒ නිෂ්පාදන ආයතන වලින් තමන්ගේ ගෑස් වෙළඳ පොළට නිකුත් කරන්න එපා කියන එක ඒක අත්හිටුවීමට කටයුතු කළා.
Public Utility Commission yesterday said standards for gas production and distribution have been prepared. Chairman of Public Utilities Commission, Janaka Ratnayaka, said that they do not have the legal power to take action. He said that letter states that content of sulphur should be contained. The Ministry of Power should submit a parliament and thereafter it should be gazetted. Meanwhile, the committee that was appointed to submit a report after conducting an investigation into gas explosions within 2 weeks inspected Electrogas company premises today.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health says that they have identified an Omicron virus-infected woman who arrived in the country from Nigeria. Director General of Health Services Dr. Hemantha Herath said they are taking all measures to prevent the spread of the virus. The first patient with Omicron variant was found from South Africa. Thereafter, patients with that virus variant were reported from several countries. The 25-year-old woman infected with Omicron variant has arrived in the country on the 24th. Health authorities said she has not been vaccinated. Accordingly, she has been subjected to a PCR test at the airport. She has been sent to a quarantine center after it was confirmed she is infected with COVID-19. After completing 10 days, she has been sent home. Health authorities said a genetic analysis was conducted considering the risk of arriving from a South African country and not being vaccinated. The test has confirmed she has been infected with Omicron variant. Her contacts are to be sent for PCR tests and genetic analysis. 508 COVID patients were found from the country today. 10,024 are undergoing treatment. 412 have recovered from the virus today. 541,536 have recovered so far. Director General of Health Services confirmed today 19 COVID-related deaths, which occurred yesterday. 14 out of them are 60 and above 60 years. 6 of them are between the ages of 30 and 59 years. The holiday declared for government and government-approved private schools for Christmas has been amended. Accordingly, the holiday will begin on 23rd of December. The Educational Ministry said today schools will recommence on 3rd of January.
With the discovery of the Omicron variant infected patients, Dr. Chandima Jeevandara expressed his views about the situation.
Today morning we issued a special report to the Secretary Minister of Health and the Director General of Health Services on our latest finding from our lab on the latest genetic sequencing report. We received samples, especially the foreign returnees over the last couple of weeks from different labs in the country, including private and the government labs, to do this genetic sequencing of these viruses, which especially targeting the arrivals. And we have issued the latest report today morning that we have found Omicron variant in one of these samples, and that person is a returnee from Nigeria, a Sri Lankan returnee from Nigeria, who was tested positive because he was tested because he is not vaccinated, and on arrival, as per the current procedure in Sri Lanka, they have to undergo PCR testing on arrival. So on arrival, that person's PCR was positive. That sample, that person was arrived on the 24th of November, and we received the sample about a couple of days ago, and we did the initial screening with the TACPath PCR kit, which we found that there is a S, that is gene target failure, and then we proceeded with a genetic sequencing, and yesterday morning we confirmed that that particular sample belongs to the Omicron variant, and Sri Lanka now will become another country which is added to the list of countries where the Omicron variant is detected. So in terms of the implications of this finding for Sri Lanka is now at a very unique situation because most of the citizens are vaccinated, either one or most are they are double vaccinated. So compared to the 2020, the situation at present is totally different because our people are immune either by vaccination or by infection. So when you are having some sort of immunity, the way your body reacts to the virus is different than a person who is naive to the virus. So in our opinion, as immunologists, we believe that immunity will definitely help to prevent any adverse outcome of the disease. So if you are vaccinated, it's very, very unlikely that you end up with very severe disease and death. And also, especially the high risk group, it's very, very important that you need to keep your antibody levels at a higher level, and also keep the immune system stimulated, so that even though you are exposed to Omicron, per person who was infected with Omicron, the chance of you getting severe diseases and death is very minimal if you are double vaccinated, and also if you have had the booster dose. So it's very important that you obey the existing guidelines given by the Ministry of Health and follow the guidelines and get yourself vaccinated. So it is the main solution for this problem. Apart from that, it's very, very important that you follow the basic guidelines which was given by the Ministry of Health, the 7 guidelines, 7 principles. So one of the most important thing is keep the distance, and also avoid crowded places, and make sure the ventilation is facilitated when you are in closed rooms, and also clean your hands with soap and water or by using hand sanitizer. The most important thing, again I am stressing here, is vaccination is the most important thing to handle this new variant which is started circulating all over the world.
President of Sri Lanka Medical Association Dr. Padma Gunaratne has urged the eligible persons to get the booster dose without any delay as it strengthens one's immunity. She made these remarks during a media briefing held today.
Omicron variant now has spread all over to many countries. Therefore, we are not surprised that a case of Omicron was detected in Sri Lanka. However, there is no need for people to be anxious of this Omicron variant. It appears that it spread fast, but there are no reports of people becoming seriously ill or deaths yet. So there are many new things to be known of Omicron variant. So until then, what people have to do is to adhere to basic health habits like wearing the mask, maintaining distance and so on, and then to without delay to get them, all people over 60 years of age, going for receiving their due booster vaccination with Pfizer vaccine. The government of Sri Lanka has taken steps to make this vaccine available for all people above 60 years of age. So the Sri Lanka Medical Association again and again request all people in this country to motivate all people above 60 years of age to receive this important vaccine.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has decided to establish a Green Agricultural Operations Centre. The aim is to implement priorities identified to make Sri Lanka a green country systematically and in a sustainable manner. It will operate under the direction of Army Commander General Shavendra Silva. The main theme of the Operations Centre is to join Colombo Commercial Fertilizer Company and Lanka Fertilizer Company and to operate National Organic Fertilizer and Distribution Company. It is also entrusted with encouraging the production of solid and liquid organic fertilizer and, according to standards, providing farmers with fertilizer free of charge on time, meeting fertilizer requirements of the districts and accelerating production of paddy, maize and other grains, vegetables and fruits. The President has instructed that the Green Agriculture Operations Centre should give priority for many tasks, including the promotion of seeds and plants suitable for green agriculture, coordination of all officials in the agriculture sector, production and distribution of food crops, promoting of educational and communication programs on organic food production. The centre should also coordinate the two presidential task forces that have been set up to create a green social economy with sustainable solutions to climate change. The President Office said that this centre is also entrusted with organising National Green Economic Council, which the President has been planned to be held every 2 weeks. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has instructed Mathura Municipal Council to expedite Mathura Town Development Plan with Urban Development Authority. The Prime Minister has given instructions during a discussion with officials of the Urban Development Authority and Mathura District General Hospital at Parliament Complex yesterday. The Mathura Development Plan expects to create a more comfortable environment with an area with urban facilities. Minister Dala Salahaperuma pointed out it is essential to modernize Mathura General Hospital, building a proper vehicle park and to centralize town administration. Chairman of the Urban Development Authority, Major General Udayananayakara, said that the support of Mathura Municipal Council and Mathura General Hospital is needed to implement the new development plan. The United Nations Special Rapporteur Tamoyo Obokata says that Sri Lanka has a robust legal framework to tackle contemporary forms of slavery and has been making progress in other areas such as increasing minimum age of employment from 14 to 16 years of age. He further added that the government has taken various positive steps towards to establish a child labour-free zone. He made these remarks addressing a media briefing held today.
Sri Lanka is one of the countries enlisted as the pathfinder country, as explained by the resident coordinator. So this in itself demonstrates its commitment to tackle forced labor, slavery, servitude, and particularly child labor, which is one of the areas the government has been taking enormous progress. One example I can give you is this pilot project called a Child Labor Free Zone, which was implemented in Ratnapura district in 2013. Now the government has worked intensely with relevant stakeholders such as parents, teachers, trade unions and businesses in order to raise awareness and also come up with a child protection plan. And since that time and a few years later, the government was successful in reducing the instances of child labor by 60%. This is an impressive result. And the government has also taken other steps to prevent child labor. For example, raising the minimum age from 14 to 16 January this year, which is, in my mind, very positive step. This is also in line with the compulsory education age of 16, as you may know. And also the government has updated its list of so-called hazardous work, where you are prohibited from working in these sectors until 18 years of age. And one of the contentious issues here was domestic work. That means working in the private homes, because compared to other sectors like garment and plantation and so on, domestic sector has been least regulated. So something like minimum wage, working hours, access to benefits have not been as strong as other sectors. And one of the things the government has done is to update this list and include domestic work as part of the hazardous list. So anyone under the age of 18 now should not be working in that sector. And that has been published in the official gazette in November. And I regard that to be a good practice. And government has also taken wider measures in addition to child labor. For example, updating the penal code to include new offenses of human trafficking and other related offenses in line with international standards. For example, the United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime. And also, now one of the issues that I will be discussing in a moment is issues of microfinancing, particularly affecting women in rural and poor areas, whereby women get a loan in order to sustain themselves and so on. That has become a very acute problem in this country because these microfinancing companies are charging a very high amount of interest, somewhere like 20 to 30% each week. So that women end up having to pay a lot more than that they have borrowed. So the government is introducing or considering a legislation to tighten their regulation on microfinancing.
The expenditure account of Minister of Defence, the Public Security and its related state ministries were debated in Parliament today. MP Sarath Fonseca said 30 billion rupees have been allocated by the budget for national security. He said that some people say more funds should not be allocated since there is no war. He said he did not agree with that view. He said that SJB will form the government and he will become the defence minister.
ඔබතුමාට මම සම්පූර්ණ බලය දෙනවා කිව්වා මේ කටයුත්ත නිමා කරන්න. SJB රජයක් අනිවාර්යෙන් එනවා. මම අනිවාර්යෙන් ආරක්ෂක ඇමතුමා වෙනවා. අද පුතානෝ කියනවා ඔබතුමාට ආරක්ෂක.
Minister Rohit Abegunawardena said that according to the constitution, President becomes the defence minister. He said the previous government gave him wildlife ministry.
ගෙන් ආරක්ෂක ඇමතිකම් ඉල්ලන්නේ. තමුන්නාසි ඉල්ලන්න යන්න එපා. ලැජ්ජ වෙන්න එපා. මේක හිටපු හමුදාපතිවරයෙක් කෙනෙක් මේ ඉන්නාරල් ලැජ්ජ වෙනවා. තමුන්නාසි ඉල්ලන්න. ගණන් අතර බලන්න රජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස ගත්තු ඡන්ද සංඛ්‍යාවයි තමුන්නාසි ගත්තු ඡන්ද සංඛ්‍යාවයි. 2010 තමුන්නාසි ඉල්ලන්න. මේ මොකටද එක එකට කඩේ යන්නේ? ඔය කියන උන්නෑට තිබුණනේ තමුන්නාසර ඔච්චර ආදරේ නම්. ගිය ආණ්ඩුවේ වනජීවි දුන්නේ. මම මේ ඔබතුමාන් නෙවෙයි පාස කරන්නේ. වනජීවි සත්තු බලා ගන්න දුන්නා. යුද්ධ කරපු මිනිහට.
Minister Chamal Rajapaksa said that steps have been taken to review national defence policy. It is believed that the amended policy will help strengthen the national defence mechanism in a futuristic manner while addressing extensive security issues as suitable for Sri Lanka. An expert committee and intelligence units are reviewing National Intelligence Act drafted on the instructions of the Cabinet to establish a strong operations framework by gathering all intelligence units to empower the country's all intelligence services. MP Alawatuwala said that a large number of armed forces personnel and police officers in the northwestern province. He said that they informed them about their shortcomings. Minister Namal Rajapaksa said that priority will be given to national security. The Finance Ministry has taken steps to provide facilities and funds for welfare for war heroes, members in the armed forces and police officers amid numerous difficulties.
Sri Lanka's High Commission in India says that the Indian official tour of Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa is successful. Mr. Rajapaksa undertook the two-day official tour on an invitation from the Indian Finance Minister. This is the first official foreign tour of Mr. Basil Rajapaksa after being appointed as the finance minister. Attention was paid on further consolidating friendship between the two parties, increasing economic cooperation and discussing matters of importance in identified sectors for both countries. Mr. Basil Rajapaksa met Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman twice in New Delhi and thanked the support given to Sri Lanka to economic cooperation programs. Indian Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Subramanian Jaishankar also attended the discussion. Thereafter, a separate round-up bilateral discussion took place with the Indian Foreign Minister. The Sri Lankan Finance Minister also met Indian National Security Advisor Sri Ajit Doval. Attention was paid during their meeting on strategic needs of both countries. Thereafter, Minister Basil Rajapaksa held discussions with India's Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister Sri Hardeep Singh Puri. During the tour, Mr. Rajapaksa explained to Indian representatives about Sri Lanka's economic vision amid the pandemic. The Indian representatives said they would support Sri Lanka on the policy to give priority for neighbours. Both parties had paid attention on proposed 4 structures to maintain short and medium-term cooperation. Sri Lanka's High Commission in India said that attention was also paid on food, medicine, oil, health protection, energy and Indian investments. Sri Lanka's High Commissioner in India, Milinda Moragoda, Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, Gopal Bagle, Finance Minister Secretary S.R. Adigala and a group of people attended the discussion. Issuing a statement, Prime Minister's office has emphasized that Mr. Shiraz Yunus is not a coordinating secretary to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The statement says that the Prime Minister's office has no connection into the statements of Mr. Shiraz Yunus, stating that he is the Prime Minister's Muslim Affairs Coordinating Secretary. The Prime Minister's office has not given him any post. It has emphasized his statements are totally personal and the Prime Minister or the Prime Minister's office do not approve such news.
A tense situation prevailed between the ruling and opposition members when a budget 2022 of Sri Rajawardhanapura Kotte Municipal Council was being passed. The council meeting took place today at the main hall of the council. The Mayor, IMG Premalal, presented the budget. Thereafter, he gave the opportunity to pass the budget. Then the unrest occurred. Ruling party members voted in favour of the budget while opposition members stayed in the chambers protesting without voting. The budget was passed by a majority of 21 votes.
Stage drama, teledrama and film actor Sampath Thinnakoon passed away today. His funeral is scheduled to be held on Sunday at the General Cemetery in Borella. He was 62 years at the time of his demise. Late Mr. Sampath Thinnakoon became a stage drama actor in 1985 by acting in late Mr. Jayalat Manoratna's Putra Samagama stage drama. He acted in stage dramas such as Ekadipati, Thalamala Pipila, Makara, Andarela and Gurutharuwa. He also acted in several teledramas including Raigam Yaluwo and Sita Nivana Katha. He was an actor in films such as Ahas Maliga, Gini Avisaha Ginikeli and Himagira. He is the husband of performing artist Ratna Lalini. His remains will be kept at a private funeral parlour in Borella from tomorrow morning for the public to pay their last respects.
That's it for tonight's English News Update. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night and stay safe.